All right, welcome to week 5, new 10, KNEW. We are at it again and reviewing some of the older material from Algebra 1. This is going to be a review of simplifying fractions while we have been doing it a bit the first 4 weeks. We're really going to need it in this section because we're headed to rational expressions and we're really going to see some of those fractions in this section. So let's get started. All right, so there's lots of methods to simplifying fractions. If you have one that is working for you, go ahead and use it. I'm going to use one that is my favorite, one that I like to do, and it's going to be a method that's most helpful for me, and that you can also use your multiplication chart for. So I am just going to go ahead and write my fraction bar. Whoop, a little crooked there. And when I do that, I'm going to look for, I'm going to continue kind of on my factor train of thought here. So I'm going to start with my smaller number, and I'm going to see if I can rewrite it as 2 factors. And in factoring, which we are going to use again this week, by the way, but in factoring, we were able to use the one partnership, right? So we were able to use like the 1 times 6 in this case. But here, when we're simplifying fractions, we want to look for partners other than the one pair. So, for example, 6, when we're looking for factors of 6, we have 1 times 6 or 3 times 2. We want to use the 3 times the 2, okay? Doesn't matter if you're at 3 times 2 or 2 times 3. Now, when we're simplifying 32, we want to look for a factor that matches. So we're wondering if 32 has either a common 2 or a common 3 there. So using that multiplication chart, and this is where that comes in handy, or the calculator, dividing 32 by 2 or by 3, seeing which one gets us a no decimal answer, we see that it's a 2. So I can write my bottom number as 16 times 2, and I can cancel out or divide into 1 the 2's. So now it leaves me with 3 over 16. Now I know I'm done because 3 is prime on top, and all that means is the only factors it breaks down into is 1 and 3, or 1 and itself, and that really means that unless the 16 breaks down into a 3, which it doesn't, I am done. So this is 3/16. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the next one. 21 over 35. So 21, I have 1 and 25, or 3 and 7. So I'm going to rewrite the top as 3 times 7. 35, off the top of my head, it ends with a 5. So no, that's not one of my pairs there, but it does help me because that gives me 5 times 7. The 7's divide into 1, and it leaves me with 3 over 5. All right. Number 3, we have 18 over 24. So I can rewrite the 18, 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, and that's really it. Sometimes, if they're both even, really quickly I can cut it in half and see if that helps me. So maybe I do that for this one. So right here, I really quick cut this in half, and I get 9 over 12, okay? All I've done is I've cut both numbers in half. So half of 18 is 9, half of 24 is 12. I could have also done this with number 1. I could not have done this with number 2. So cutting both of those in half, I get 9 over 12. And now I can do the same thing I did in the first two. I get 3 times 3 on the top. I get 4 times 3 on the bottom. I can only go 1 for 1 with my factors, like canceling or dividing to 1. So I can't cross out both of the 2's on top. Both of the 3's on top. I can only cancel out one of the 3's on top with one of the 3's on bottom. Just like with the exponents, when I was simplifying exponents, it was the same thing. Like every 1 on top, I could cancel out 1 on the bottom. So I have 3 over 4 as my answer. All right, number 4. I'm going to rewrite the top as 3 times 4. I'm going to rewrite the bottom as 3 times 5. Again, that rule of 5 helps me. Things are divisible by 5 when they end in 5 or 0. Divisible by 5. There's some divisibility rules that help you. So you know something's divisible by 5 when it ends in 5 or 0. Divisible by 2, or it's even, or divisible by 2 when it's even. It's divisible by 3 when you add up the numbers and it's divisible by 3, so 3, 6, 9. Trying to think of what else. 10 is obviously 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, so ends in 0. 9, and the 9 rule, that's a lot easier to explain by video. I can show you guys on a Tuesday. You'd have to see my face. And then there's some wonky ones out there that, not that they're tricks, but there's definitely math behind it, but they look like tricks just because of they look like magic the way they happen. All right, so the 3's cancel, and I am left with 4 over 5. All right, so looking now, moving down to the bottom half. All right, this one I'm going to do 11 times 3, 3 times 7, 3's cancel, leave me with 11 over 7. 56 over 20. So just looking at this, they're both even. So maybe I cut them in half. I get 10 on the bottom. Half of 56 is 28. I can actually cut them in half again. Maybe I got in my own way with my fraction bar here. So I get 14 over 5. And I'm actually done right there, because 14 over 5 have nothing else in common. So this one I was able to do just in 2 steps of cutting both the top and the bottom in half. So I halved it twice, which if I halve something twice, I'm actually dividing by 4. So I divided the top by 4 and I divided the bottom by 4. So ultimately what I did was I must have found my factors of 4. So what I did was that if I was using my other method, I did that. All right, this one, again, using my halving method, although I don't off the top of my head know. Half of 78. 14, half of 14 is 7. 78 is going to be 36. Nope, 38. I don't have my calculator with me. I don't have my multiplication chart by me either. I just made one too many mistakes this semester. 39 over 7. And that's actually where I can stop, because 7 is a prime number, so I'm not going to be able to pull anything else out of it. All right, 85 and 25, I can pull 5s out of that. So 5 and 5. So the bottom's going to be 5 times 5. The top is going to be 5 times 17. I think so. 5, 35, 8. Yep. All right, 5s cancel out, and I get 17 over 5. All right, number 9. 3 times 4, 3 times 7. Now, again, that one you might be saying, like, how did you know that? Well, I knew it wasn't going to be an even number because, and how did you know that? Well, if it was an even number, they both would have been even. When you have an even and an odd, okay, it's not going to be an even number that you're pulling out. So the 3's knock out and you get 4 over 7. Again, this one, maybe I got a little bit ahead of myself. Okay, because I have 2 even numbers, so let me do the just cutting in half. So I get 8 over 10, cut in half again, 4 over 5, and I'm done. All right, so hopefully this makes it easier to simplify fractions, or at least gave you another perspective of it. Keep practicing and let me know if you have any questions.